Semis and finals. Oh, it's a semi. No semis. We've got two partners going head to head. We're going to pick one, two, three, and the finals. You're going to find out who's going to All right, good morning. Come on in and grab a seat. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hello. I love that. It's a lively bunch this morning. So we're going to go ahead. We've got a ton of things we're going to go through today. So we're going to be talking about the finals of our listing competition. We're going to have the end of our script off madness. And in the second half of today's meeting, we'll have Jill Wright and Riley Barnett talking to us about how they are winning for their buyers in the current market. First things first, everybody up. Everybody up. That's it. Let's get a stretch in. Let's get some energy. As you all know, I'm going to say the first half, and then you finish it after me. So, win-win.
No deal.
Integrity.
Do the right thing.
Customers.
Always come first.
Commitment.
In all things.
Communication.
Seek first to understand.
Creativity.
Ideas before results.
Teamwork.
Together everyone achieves more.
Trust.
Starts with honesty.
Equity.
Opportunities for all.
And success.
Results through people.
I love it. Give yourselves a round of applause. Go ahead and have a seat. So we're going to fly through some things, but first things first, tell us something good. What good news do y'all have? Nanette.
Yes, so Justin Anderson out of his office, we have a closing this Friday. Yay!
Yay! Congratulations. I love when we work together, y'all.
One of my buyers just got pre-approved this morning.
Congratulations, Asia. One of her buyers just got approved.
It's a start.
It's a start. Who else? Who's got some good news? You should all have some good news because there are some fun things right in front of you. Who got one of these?
Pink poncho.
Courtesy of Atlantic Bay, thank you. Okay, what other good news do we have? Let's take one or two more. Bless you. All right, don't be shy, y'all. There's got to be something good. We just had spring break. What's been going on in your world? Oh, wait, it's okay. I yell it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's Passover this Friday, and it's going to be fun. I got only 34 people in my house. It's going to be fun.
That's why you're allowed.
Maybe 35.
Yeah, well, no bread. 3 more. No bread. No, I'm going to touch it. Yeah, so happy Passover to whoever is celebrating, and happy Easter too.
Thank you. Love that. Happy holidays to everybody. All right, let's go ahead and move on through. Happy birthday. We've got some birthdays that are coming up today, Matt and Nicholas, and then coming up, Lauren, Allison, Pamela, and Michelle. Let's say happy birthday to everybody. Happy birthday. And hats off to our most recent cappers. So these are cappers from March. That's Anna, Jimmy, Michael, Griffin, Michael, Howard, Ramsey, Sabrina, Sabine, Sherry, Joel, Lauren, Janine, Lisa, and Adriana. Kudos to all of you. That's a huge month. Anyone here that has capped recently that has not been recognized?
Adriana, have you been able to work?
Adriana, come on up.
I don't
And
think
wait a minute, where are my caps? Okay, I'm giving you a shirt. I know.
Under the table?
Under the table?
I think so.
I don't know.
wear the balloon.
You could use that Gatorade pom pom.
Oh, the Gatorade? I love that
Pom pom on
ingenuity.
the head.
Like that?
Let's see, y'all. Yes.
Like this?
Oh, I've got one.
Pull the cap off. It's awesome.
Hey.
All right, come on up. We're going to snap a photo. And let's give her a round of applause. I love it. Congratulations, Adriana.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're going to do something a little bit new today. What we're hearing from everyone is that we're focusing on listings, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to play the match game. So who has a listing that's just gone live or is coming live, an agreement you just signed? I want you to share the address, the bed, bath, and the price. Who's got a listing they want to share? Ayala.
3894 Allsboro in Tucker. It's got a 4 bedrooms, 2 full bath, and then 2 half bath. It's on a partially finished basement, and it's very close to the park, and it's gonna be $479.
Perfect, thank you. Jill, did I see your hand up?
Yes, I just listed this past weekend, 585 Brownlee Road. It's on the west side of Atlanta, right off the highway, so just right there at the perimeter. And it's a little ranch, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, completely renovated, but it's on 0.86 acres, which is cool. So come check it out.
Perfect, thank you. We got one more.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's 329.
329. Thank you, Jill.
For our team, we're listing on 221 Caboose in Woodstock. 3-2, completely updated with granite paint. I mean, it's just like perfect. 315.
Wow, 315 in Woodstock.
Wow.
Okay, perfect. So the purpose of this, y'all, is that you should be writing these down so that when you've got a buyer, you already know about what's either just come on the market or not yet on the market. Rudiger, did you have one?
Yeah, don't have the listing agreement signed yet, so probably gonna be 3 units in Ashboro Village. 2 of them are 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, one is a 3-bedroom. The 3-bedroom has a long-term tenant in it. The other 2 will be vacant. They're coming on the market for around $180,000.
Wow, that sounds like a great
Yes, in
investment
Marietta
opportunity.
next to Dobbins Air Base.
Okay, so Marietta. So if you got a question about that, please see Rudiger.
Yep.
Any other
Yes.
listings that we want to share today for everyone with potential buyers? All right, perfect. Well, kudos to all of you for your listings, and let's make sure we keep sharing them so we can match together. All right, let's keep going. So now, the moment that you have all been waiting for. Can we get a little drum roll? Yeah. It is time for our finals, our semifinals of the Script Off Madness. So David Lewis, Angie Ponzel, come on down. You are up. Give a round of applause. So I'm going to actually have you stand front and center. And we're doing things a little bit differently. So in the past, our contestants, if you will, they've gotten the objective ahead of time. But we're in the semis, y'all. We're heading into the finals. So we're going to go ahead and do this on the spot. Okay? So which one of you wants to pick your objective? Okay.
Oh, and you had them rehearsing in their car on the way here and everything.
So I'll go ahead and read it out.
Really long.
Okay, so you can decide amongst yourselves who goes first. Okay, we want to overprice the house. So the seller says, we really like you. We want to use you. I know that you think the price is $650,000, but we think it needs to be listed no less than $750,000. Will you do it? Who wants to go first?
Go ahead.
So polite of you, Angie.
Working together.
So we want to overprice the house. I know you think it's $650, but we really think it shouldn't be anything less than $750.
Can we pretend like it's not today's market? Is it a normal market that they want to do this in?
Yeah, good deal. We'll take it.
You get that objection right now.
I still think it's relevant in today's market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, David, you're up.
Is it me and you?
Oh yeah.
So 750.
Oh yeah. That's my price.
So give me a little bit of guidance, like what helped you arrive at that 750 number?
Well, our neighbors down the street just listed theirs for $800, and they've got a basement we don't. But I mean, we put so much money. Did you see those master closets? Did you see our kitchen? It's $750 all the way, and that's all it's gonna be.
Yeah, no, you have a beautiful home, and I can tell you put a lot of hard work into it. It's a really great home. So going back to that 750 number, if you were able to get 750, what would be the most important part of that to you?
Getting $750.
Yeah. So the fact is it important for you to be the highest seller in the neighborhood? Is it important for you to get an additional $100,000 in income? And if you were able to get that $100,000, what would you do with it?
Yeah, we believe that in this market, that's the money we should be getting. And for the money and the time and the effort we've put into this house, who's heard that one? It's $750, and we're gonna go buy a bigger house, so we need every dollar.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. So you've done a lot of great work in this house, and you've turned it into a really great investment. And I want to see you get the most for that investment and be able to put it into that next house.
So you'll do it for $750.
Yeah, 1,000%. So the thing about us is that we work for you. So at the end of the day, it's my job to give you the most honest and accurate information so you can make the best decision for you and your family. But at the end of the day, you're the boss. So if you want to list it for $750, we'll put the sign, and I'll do my best to sell it at $750 for you guys.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you.
With that being said, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't talk you through the opportunity cost of overpricing the listing. Would that be okay if I just walked you through those things? Because what I know about you is that you like that kind of information. You want to make a good decision for you and your family.
Well, right, I can appreciate that you said you work for me. So we're gonna do $750, right?
Yeah. So, but one thing that you mentioned is that you want to put the most money into the next house possible,
Right.
right? I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news lately, but one thing for sure is that interest rates are rising, which means on a daily basis, your opportunity to buy the home that you want for the least amount of money is changing. Which, if we put your house on the market now, if we price it correctly and accurately, and I'm not saying it's not $750, I'm not saying it's $650, but pricing it correctly would allow us to sell it really fast and get you to cash in on a new house even faster.
I'll take that into consideration, and,
Oh, of
and
course.
then I'll let you know if that sounds good.
Yeah, of course. No, that's really, really smart.
I appreciate it.
In regards to having you to get the most opportunity in your next house, right? We try to price this house as correctly as possible, because one thing that's also changing on a day-by-day basis is that your buyer pool is shrinking, right? So you get to make the ultimate decision, but when you do overprice a home, so let's say that the number is not $750, because unfortunately, I don't actually get to decide what your house sells for, and you don't get to decide. The market decides. But let's say we take a shot at $750 because I believe in your house and I believe in all the work that you've done, and we put it on the market for $750. Sounds good to me. In the event that we don't sell as fast as we would like, we get this weird effect. Now, what have you heard about the market in the news?
That it's hot, and houses are selling, and sometimes they're selling before they make it on the market, like that neighbor I told you about. They were on the market for 1 day, and they had 15 offers.
Yeah.
So if we don't have 15 offers, you know, I don't think it's the market. Maybe it's the agent.
Yeah, it very well could be. It very well could be the agent, right? And it very well could be the market, right? But one thing we want to be sure is that no matter what the price is, it's my job to get as many eyeballs on the property as possible, right? And that house you're talking about, which we can consider that a winner on the market, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
15 offers, 1 day. That's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So with
Let's
that,
go do that,
yeah.
David.
So what did they list their home for?
They listed their home for $800,000.
800,000. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is different about that house and your house?
The basement. That's about it.
Yeah, they have
And in fact, you saw our closets. They're incredible. We spent $15,000 in custom closets. And our kitchen, I mean, we put $125,000 into that kitchen. Our kitchen is nicer than theirs. I know it.
No, it makes perfect sense. So, 800,000, and they have a basement, is that correct?
They do. And forgive me because I do have to run, but can we agree that we're gonna put this for $750 on the market?
I think we can agree to a little bit longer of a conversation. Because specifically speaking, and I know you gotta run, so I'll be really quick, but we should probably continue the conversation. Because as I mentioned before, it's my job to give you the most honest and accurate information so you can make an educated decision for your family. And I personally wouldn't sleep well tonight if I didn't finish this conversation to give you that information. Because what's important for me is helping you accomplish your goal of getting into that next house so that you can have that bigger yard for your kids, or you can be in that better school district that we talked about. And it would be a concern for me if we delayed that process and eliminated your buying power in the future.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah, no,
Let's give them a round of applause. Angie, you're up. This is the semis, y'all. This has got to be tough, right? This is what we're actually hearing in the market.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is what Shannon and I have gone through twice now.
So, Angie,
We've been successful one time and not.
Angie, we really like you. We want to use you. We trust your team. And I know that you think the price of this house is $650,000. But we really think it's $750,000, and that's just got to be the price. Will you do that for us?
Tell me why you think it's $750,000.
Well, let me tell you. So my neighbors, you know the one you were just telling me about, actually, they sold for $800,000, and really the only difference is their basement. I mean, we've redone our kitchen, we've redone our closets. Man, I feel like I've said this so many times. We've redone so much, and our house is actually nicer than theirs. Plus, theirs was like a month and a half ago. The market's hot. We know stuff is flying.
A lot changes on a daily, weekly basis, and a month and a half ago, interest rates were a little bit lower, were they not?
They were. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're feeling it when we get ready to buy.
I know. And so are the buyers who are looking at your house. And we've got to think about who's the ideal buyer for your house.
Someone that can afford it. Yeah.
Are the buyers looking in your neighborhood, do they prefer basements?
You know, we've had a couple houses, no basements, and they sold just fine. And I can't imagine that a basement is everything to everyone. There's got to be buyers who don't want a basement. Am I right?
The houses that sold without basements, did they sell comparable to the houses with basements, or did they sell for a little bit less?
I mean, I don't know. You're my agent. Can you tell me?
Yeah. What I'm telling you is, based on the comps, the things that have actually sold, ideally, and I live and breathe Sandy Springs, and I am really accurate when it comes to pricing.
Okay.
I can list it for $750, but I don't want you coming back and telling me it's overpriced. I didn't do my job.
But it's
And-
not overpriced. I mean, you've seen that closet. You've seen that kitchen. It's amazing. I mean, we've put like $200,000 in this house.
Let me give you a scenario. This is real life, okay?
Okay.
That's happened
Oh,
to
gosh.
another client.
Hit me with it, because this is not going to happen to me.
I
I'm just going to put that out
suggest
there.
$650. Client A takes my advice and we sell for $700 because everybody loves the house and they're scared they're not going to get it because of your incredible kitchen, because of your incredible closets. They compete against it and you end up selling for $700.
So do you think if we list it for $750, we'll get $800?
Client B listed for $750 when I said $650.
Yeah.
And it sat for a week, so we lowered it to $700, and everybody's going, it's overpriced, and it ends up selling for $665. Would you rather have $665 or $700?
Yeah, but I don't understand, because the market is so hot. So is that a reflection of what's happening in the market? Or, respectfully, is that maybe you're not doing enough to sell our house?
The market's hot for appropriately priced houses.
Okay. Let's give her a round of applause. Hey, come on back up, Angie. Come on back up. So now we're gonna vote before we get into our next round. All right, so
That was great.
clap appropriately. Did David win the competition? All right. How about Angie? All right, I think it's clear. Angie, congratulations. You're moving on to the final. Oh, yay! Stay up here. David, thank you so much for playing. All right, so let's go ahead and move on.
You mean I gotta do this like another time?
One more time. Gotta get all the jitters out. So, up next, Jill Wright, come on down. Unfortunately, Denise is on the bench today with an injury, minor, very small, and we're sending her some love. So, congratulations, Jill Wright, because you have automatically moved on to the final. Now, Angie, because you won, I'm going to go ahead and let you choose the script, and you are also going to go first.
Oh, for you, Angie.
I like to go second.
Oh, this is finals, right?
Gives me time.
Okay, let me get that
All right,
from
I
you.
hope I got us a good one.
All right, so your objection. This is the not right now objection. So we'd be open to selling our house in the next year. Why should we list it now, and why should we list it with you?
Well, you know for sure you're gonna sell in the next year.
I mean, most likely. Yeah, I think we're just bursting at the seams at this point.
Okay, so I would tell you, right now is a great market. In a year, I'm not that smart, none of us are that smart to know what the market is.
You don't know what's happening in a year. Where's your crystal ball? Don't you have one of those in your bag?
And if you're bursting at the seams, couldn't you use as much money as possible to move to the next point?
Yeah, that's fair. But that's the whole thing. I mean, prices are so high right now. Is it even worth it to sell when we have to buy overpriced right now?
but you're gonna get more for your house. So it doesn't matter what market it is if you're buying and selling, it's all gonna even out. You're gonna get more, you're gonna pay more, but you're gonna get more.
I still don't like the idea of having to overpay, because what happens if the market tanks and now we've just paid too much for a house?
When are you moving after this next home?
You know, at some point in the next year, we're not in a hurry.
No, I mean, I'm sorry, when you buy this next home,
Mm-hmm.
the one that's bigger,
Right.
how long do you plan to stay in that house?
We'll probably be in that. I hope we never move again, because I hate moving. So yeah, my husband loves to move and I hate it. So we're hopefully forever in that house.
Then you're not gonna have to worry about whether you overpaid or got the best deal of the century. It's gonna go up in value anyway.
Even if the market tanks, I keep hearing the word recession. I was listening to Bloomberg and CNBC, and I'm reading all these things, and I'm just worried we're gonna be underwater on a house.
I'm not hearing that. Inventory is very low, and it's not coming back anytime soon, and I don't think prices are going backwards anytime soon, if ever.
Did your crystal ball tell you that one?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll think about it. I'll say that. My husband wants to move tomorrow. It's really just me that's holding us back. And I just don't know that I feel comfortable in this market. I mean, can you make any assurances about what we'll get for our house?
I can tell you, you'll get top dollar. You've done your closets and your kitchen. And you've got that steep driveway. Now would be a good time to sell because people are overlooking those things.
Interesting. I don't know. I'm not totally sold. I'm still nervous about what we're gonna pay, and yeah.
And if you sell, you have time to look for something else.
But how much time would we really have? Because all I keep hearing from friends of mine that are buying is that there aren't any houses, and that their agents can't find anything for them, and they only get to see maybe 1 or 2 houses.
Well, if you're looking in Sandy Springs, I got a lot of private inventory.
Oh, okay. See, now we're talking. I'd love to learn more about how you have the private inventory, because if we can find a house, we'll move.
I can find you a house. If I have to write notes, if I have to knock on doors, I'll find you a house.
Okay, so you have the inventory, you'll find the inventory.
Both.
Okay, well now we're talking. Thank you, Angie.
You're welcome.
Let's give her a round of applause.
Looks like there's multiple objections happening here.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah,
This is
Jill,
the
you're catching
final
on
round,
now.
okay? Am I going too easy on them?
No.
Am I being
Yes.
realistic with them?
Yeah, you're good.
Perfect. So, Jill, it is the final round, people. All right, we'd be open to selling next year. Why should we sell now, and why should we sell with you?
That's a great question, and I'm getting a lot of that question right now. I completely understand because there's a lot of information swirling around out there right now, right? I'm sure you're hearing things from friends and you're reading things online and
Oh,
all
yeah.
of that. So what is the most important thing to you about moving right now?
I just don't know where we're gonna go, and I don't want to pay more than we need to right now.
Okay, why do you want to move?
We're just bursting at the seams. We just need more space.
You need more space.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing that the hesitation is that the market is crazy and you're worried about finding somewhere to go.
Yeah, I'm worried that we won't find a house, and then I'm worried that we'll pay too much for a house right now. And I keep hearing about that. I keep hearing about friends who feel like they maxed out every dollar to buy a house, and I just don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, the good news is if you sell when the market is a high seller's market, you'll be bringing all of that cash into the market to help you buy. And the people that are winning in the buyer's market right now are the people that are bringing cash into the transaction now. Let me tell you just a few things about selling now versus selling later.
Okay.
I would be concerned about selling later. I would be concerned about waiting.
Why is that?
Right now, it's a seller's market. We all know this. There's not a lot of inventory. And there's a ton of buyers in the market that are fighting over that small amount of inventory. They're serious buyers. They're coming in with competitive offers, and you're leveraging those offers to get your home over market value or high net profit, right? There's 2 things that are going to affect that this year. Rising prices. So as prices rise pretty rapidly, the pool of buyers that can afford your home is shrinking.
Could even if they're really motivated, won't they need to buy no matter what?
Correct, but it might not be your house, right? The pool of buyers that can afford your home is shrinking. Now with rising interest rates, the same thing is happening. The
Yeah,
pool
but
of
you've
buyers.
seen my kitchen. You've seen my closet, okay? I put a lot of time and effort into this house. I mean,
Oh,
who
absolutely.
wouldn't want that kitchen?
Oh, I mean, I want that kitchen, but I don't know if I can afford it with the rising prices and the rising interest rates. I want it, but now I can't afford it. So that pool of buyers that can afford your property on a monthly basis, that can afford your kitchen on a monthly basis is shrinking. So if there are fewer buyers in the market that can afford your home, is your home worth more or less?
I just have to think that there's someone that is
The
gonna
answer
want-
is less. And there's one other thing. There's one other thing
I like how you take control.
that can affect your home value
Okay.
and will therefore affect your net profit that you're taking to buy your next beautiful home that has a ton of space for your family. And that's customer buyer confidence.
What does that mean?
So that means that people get tired of overpaying. They're like, I'm paying too much for groceries, I'm paying too much for gas.
That's
Now
how
the interest rates are higher.
That's how I feel right now. Inflation
Yeah.
is like, I mean,
So
crushing
they go,
democracy.
sorry, I'm out, and they're not gonna buy your home. So why don't we sell your home for over market value now, so that you can then go pick the next home of your choice, still achieve a fairly low, historically, interest rate, and bring cash in to be competitive in the market. What do you say?
And you feel confident you can help me find that house that does not yet exist?
I do. We have a huge network. We have a huge network that we are always tapping into for things that are not on the market yet, that are coming soon. And we're the first to know when things become available, and we're going to get you in the door as quickly as possible, and we're going to advise you as to how to submit the most competitive offer so that you are winning in this market on both sides.
Well, I really appreciate you. I feel a lot less concerned now. I'm going to take all this back to my husband, and then we'll get back to you, all right?
I'd love to meet with you and your husband next time as well, so we can all talk together.
We can make that happen. Thank you.
Awesome.
Let's give Jill a round of applause. Well, they were amazing, and they tackled multiple objectives. So go ahead and stand up. Yes.
Not to make me look even worse, but one thing Jill said that both of us could have said even more in plainer terms is,
When you sell, it's dollar for dollar. When you buy, it's not dollar for dollar, because you're financing it, and still at a low interest rate.
Okay, that's not part of your submission. However, I love the.
it's not.
I'm
I'm
next
not
to me.
judged on that, but she did mention it, so to speak.
I love that. Would y'all agree that they crushed this? All right. So by a show of clapping, did Angie win this round? How about Jill? Angie, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Jill, congratulations! And we're going to be looking forward to hearing from you in just a few minutes when we talk about how to win with buyers. I think she's pretty good with this, right? Yeah.
I can't wait to see your kitchen.
The amazing thing, Jill, is when team meeting is done today, you are welcome to take home a Yeti cooler as the winner of our Top Magnet. All right, let's go ahead. We're moving on. We still have so much to cover. So we also simultaneously had our listing competition running, and now it's time to announce the winner. So let's get a drum roll going. Let's get some energy going for them. All right. In 5th place, we have a tie, Nanette Briggs and Amina Cowie. Nanette and Amina, feel free to come on down, grab a hydro flask. Oh, yes. I didn't even know what that was till now.
Yeah, whatever you want to use it.
Here you go. And in 4th place, Asia. Come on down, Asia. That's me. So 27 points. She had 5 buyer signed agreements, 1 bold registration, and joined us in team meeting. Congratulations. You also get a hydro flask. third place, da-da-da-da-da, Lauren Kermani. As you can see, she has quite a list of accomplishments in the duration of our contest. And now in second place, Bridget Green. Come on, So Bridget, you will also be able to take home a fabulous Yeti cooler at the end of today. Let's give her a huge round of applause. And drum roll, please. In first place is Arnold O. Arnold, come on down. So Arnold, you have won tickets to either a basketball game or a soccer game. So this t-shirt is for you.
Oh, yay!
Ta-da!
It was on sale, huh? All right, thank you.
So, Arnold, what was the key to your success when it came to listings?
I mean, I think, what's my success? FSBOs. FSBO's been great. So FSBOs, just go down Zillow. So if you don't know, go to Zillow, and then just, there's other listings that's not by agents, and then just call them and say, hey, because Keller offers we have a Keller cash offer program. You just say, hey, we have a cash offer program. Would you be interested in getting a cash offer, and then just getting your foot in the door, and then making a legitimate cash offer. You know, Keller offers have like maybe 3 to 4 different cash buyers, and then only one is worth anything. So other ones are pretty crappy. So to be honest, and so OfferPad is the only one that makes any like legitimate offer, but this still comes in a little low. But what you do is you have build a relationship, and you just say, hey, I'm interested. Because you do the numbers and you ask them, are you paying buyer's commission? And so then it's 3% typically. Then you really need maybe 2 to 3% spread, and then you calculate that number and figure out if you could sell that in this market, and then say, hey, I could get this net to you, this price to you, within 2 weeks or a month. Or I typically ask for a month, and if they're really resistant, then I ask, give me 2 weeks at no obligation trial for 2 weeks, you know. So, and then you say, I'm willing to do all this marketing, knock on doors, call people, you know, Facebook advertising, which we do. It doesn't cost that much to do Facebook advertising, and then you get more leads anyway. So you do that, and yeah, that's been very helpful.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all of our winners.
I get tickets, or don't, this is what I get?
And you get
tickets.
All right, we want to thank you all for playing along with us. As you know, we love to have competitions, and we'll have more coming this year. And right now, a word from our sponsors. So let's give them some love. I believe it's Campbell and Brandon. Come on,
Good morning, First Atlanta.
Hello.
Good morning. It's hard to follow such rock stars, superstars. So, but I will try. So you all should have a handout. If there's not one at your table or desk, they're more in the back. It's a front and back. We're going to start on the front, not the one with the pretty picture, but the one that says kind of questionnaire. So my subject is going to encroach, like a survey, is going to encroach a little bit on a lender topic. So there may be some questions that are more specific to the lenders, and you have great lender partners here that can help answer questions. So it has to do with condo questionnaires. It sounds really boring, but mainly in the aftermath of what happened last year in South Florida with the condo high-rise collapse. So historically, condominium projects always had to be approved for lending purposes, and there's this condo questionnaire, and it's I've never seen one because the lender takes care of that, but it's just a list of questions, and I think historically it had focused primarily on the financials of the homeowners association. Delinquencies, owner occupancy rates, reserves, things like that. Well, because of the huge losses, sadly, life and financial losses and mortgage losses. I mean, you've got mortgages backed by property that doesn't exist. The underwriters are now taking a much deeper dive into the structural integrity of these buildings. So what that means is that if you are buying or selling a condominium, even if the buyer is crystal clear and even if the condo unit is in perfect shape, the lending may fail, not due to anybody's fault, but the fact that they can't get the appropriate condo questionnaire completed. And these questionnaires are completed by the management companies. So what we have seen is the management companies trying to hedge themselves against liability are being very vague or non-responsive or not answering the questions in the way that the lender underwriting criteria, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, is looking for. So that's making it tougher to get a condo approved for financing. So what happens if everything is perfect? Inspection, appraisal, everything is great, due diligence is run, that zero due diligence is up, it's already up by the next day. Financing, after the weekend, the financing contingency is up, so basically, not that anybody's writing contracts with financing or due diligence contingencies or appraisal contingencies. But what happens then if the condo doesn't get approved? Well, that is the failure for the loan to be made. So technically that is, after the financing contingency has expired and the lender can't make the loan for whatever reason, the buyer's at risk. So we have compiled just a to-do list. What can you do to help in this process? And it's all laid out pretty straightforward here. If you're representing a buyer, if you're representing a seller. More importantly, we have special stipulations on here that basically protect your buyer, that in the event that the loan is not approved because of the HOA questionnaire not meeting the lender requirements, that your buyer is protected. So it's pretty long stipulation. You wouldn't expect anything else from a bunch of lawyers, but yeah, you're free to, a lot of people are like afraid to put any stipulations in the contract now, and that's a decision between you and your buyer, whether or not you want to have a one-page stipulation that's going to freak the seller out, but you've got to at least educate them and then they decide what they want to do. But the more information you can get on the front end makes that risk, at least you have some knowledge as to what's going to happen. And there's some good ideas here, asking your lender if the development's already, if you've already got a development that's already approved and you can get your lender to tell you that, well, you're kind of sitting on the catbird seat against somebody else who may not have access to that intel and maybe putting the stipulation in there. So talk to your lenders, find out from them in advance, and you may be looking at multiple condominium projects. So sorry to put extra work on our lender friends here, but I know y'all would rather know it on the front end than the back end. Yes?
So as listing agent, I should go to the management company with that questionnaire before I list the property?
Look on this sheet, it tells you, it basically tells you what to ask for in advance. So, I mean, we kind of tell you what to ask for to the extent you get the covenants, you can see whatever. So a lot of these management companies already have pre-written responses to these questionnaires. So if you can get that, submit that to your lender, and your lender can say, this isn't gonna fly, then you know that you may have trouble as a listing agent. But the most information you get in advance, the better. Now, this, is my time
You're
up?
good. Anything?
I should have.
But our condo has great closets.
Yeah. So, a question we often get, and this is, you should take this for granted. How do you know if something's a condo versus a townhome? On the back page where it's got the little picture there, we give you an example of a legal description of what a condo legal description. You have two properties that look exactly the same. They both look like townhouses. One's a condo, one's a townhouse. And you can always ask us at this attorneys at cb.law. We can get you the legal description. We can answer the question of whether or not it's a condo or fee simple. If you've got a legal description, the answer should be right there. With very, very, very rare exception, will the word condominium be in the legal description and not be a condominium project. There are a few townhomes in DeKalb County because DeKalb County doesn't have a condominium plat book. They just record everything in a regular plat book that it may not refer to a condominium plat. And some counties will record a townhome plat and a condominium plat, but if there's confusion, ask us.
But don't be fooled by the name of a condo
Right.
that says townhome.
Right.
Amen.
Right. Because some of them are townhome, a Georgia condominium. So, yeah, so you gotta dig deeper there. So I'm Lee Cohen, Campbell and Brandon, 11 offices. I'm right across the street. We're here to serve you.
Can you email the special steps so we don't have to type it?
Yes, I can send that out. I'll get that out to, I'll figure out how we can get that either to Amy to send it on the internet, and I'll get it to the team to circulate. Nick's raising his hand about it.
You send it to me, I'll do it.
Okay,
Let's
perfect.
give Lee a round of applause. If you've got questions, Lee and his team are phenomenal. They're here in the office, so feel free to ask questions. And now let's bring up Atlantic Bay and give them a round of applause.
So really quick, this is not what we were talking about, but I just want to add on to Lee real quick. You guys, this is super important. I know in this market, everyone's trying to do 8-day and 10-day closings, and all of your preferred lenders in this office can do that for you. This is where there could be hiccups, right? We have to get this proper information from the HOAs, and you've got to protect your client. So if you're trying to go in with zero financing, you need to have that stip in there to protect them, because they'll lose their earnest money. So it's just really important. The other thing I want to mention is we actually don't always require condo questionnaires. There are a lot of lenders after that condo collapse that have added it in January. We still have lots of deals that don't. So you can't just look as simple in FMLS and say, oh, well, this just had a closing last month that had financing. That does not mean that you are okay. Also has to do with how much the client's putting down. If they're putting less than 10% down, it could trigger a questionnaire. Doesn't mean it will, but it could. Also, even if you don't get a questionnaire, your appraiser has to get information. If y'all ever pay attention to your appraisal on your condos, it has information on the appraisal report. Sometimes we don't get condo questionnaires, but the appraiser gets information from the HOA and discloses it. And now all of a sudden you have a problem with deferred maintenance and you can no longer close. So that's not what we're talking about today, but I just want to add that to Lee. Thank you, Lee, for bringing that up.
No, it's
Deborah.
huge. I'm going to just add one more thing. I did just go through where I had a deal. We put a special stip in because they wanted to go with 0 days financing. They ended up took us forever to get the HOA stuff and the questionnaire. They ended up having deferred maintenance and a lawsuit. We did end up closing, but it was painful and the HOA was not overly helpful. But our condo department worked through it with the attorneys and with the HOA. But that special stip was everything.
When they know there's an issue, they try to be vague, which is not good for lending.
So moving on, I know that your affiliate partners here have talked a lot about getting approved ahead of time and fast closings and no financing and 0, 0, 0, 0. And so everybody can do that, and that's great for y'all. But we kind of wanted to move on and talk a little bit about our poor jumbo department hasn't gotten any attention in our jumbo loans and different programs. So we want to talk a little bit about that. We work with 10 jumbo lenders. And we underwrite them in-house, so that's a big plus because each one of us have our own team of underwriters and processors. And but there's many, many wonderful products. A jumbo loan is anything over $647,200 in loan size, and we have a new loan product that we want to tell you about.
Yeah, and the one thing I just want to point out is this is different than a traditional broker. For those of you who work with brokers, you don't have control, right? So basically you work with Chase or you work with Wells Fargo, whoever it is, you have to send the loan off to them. It's their underwriters. We are what you call delegated. So that means is it's us in-house. You just are going to be paying Chase. You're not going to be dealing with Chase's appraisals or Chase, right? That's who your client's just going to be paying. So it gives us a broad variety of programs that allow us to have 10% jumbo, that allow us to have debt to income ratios of 50%. That's very uncommon for jumbo. A lot of jumbo, you have to be at 43. So it doesn't necessarily fit in a box, but it allows us to have these programs to be able to offer you guys. And one thing that we're really excited about, and this is not just a jumbo product, but it's called Wealth Builder. So what's really amazing about this is we all know, right, you build wealth through real estate, right? This is not meant for your clients looking for down payment assistance, but it is 100% financing up to $975,000. What you have to understand is this is very different. This is not a down payment assistance program. You have to have good credit, you have to have good income. The idea behind it is you have a great job, great income, but you haven't had a chance to save up for that down payment yet. And by the way, you don't have the cash reserves that jumbo requires. So that's where this program comes in. Up to 975, you have to have a 700 credit score. Up to 650, you have to have a 680 credit score. So it's not just for your jumbo. However, I'm going to give you a perfect example. I'm working with a client right now who's an attorney. He just got hired on. He's making this huge salary, but he just started a few months ago, so he doesn't have the money for the down payment. But because he has that wealth, because he has the ability to repay, because he is a good prospect, he can get 100% financing, and the best part is he can even roll the mortgage insurance into the loan so that he doesn't have to pay a monthly mortgage insurance and actually borrow up to 103%. So again, this is not for someone who's looking for down payment assistance. You have to have good credit, you have to have great income, but it is a great option for you guys. So definitely meet with any of us. We could tell you all the details behind it.
Sounds like the old doctor loan, not the old doctor loan, but it sounds like.
We're gonna do that.
I'm just taking all your topics.
Yeah, well, thanks, Lee. Next week I will be talking about a.
Just one question.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
Sorry.
What is the rate on that?
So it's an adjustable rate, and it varies depending if you do 5, 7, or 10-year arms. So we can definitely run scenarios for any of your clients.
Yes, Michael.
Yeah, great question.
Want a drink? Oh, he's about to do that.
And then we got another program that we'll talk about next week that isn't also 100% financing. It is for professionals, but next week we just want to spend more time on that. So if you're here today, you want to hear more about that next week, that'd be great. In the interim, I want to talk about some fun stuff. Wine tasting that we are partnering with the Equity Committee. That's going to be on April 20th. And then, big deal, Red Day. I know you guys are seeing all the stuff about that. We love partnering with you guys on Red Day. And we are going to be hosting a happy hour. I guess the place is still to be determined, but we're working with McManamy on that. And that'll be super fun and a way to celebrate after serving the community.
Thanks.
So.
All right, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. I do also want to give a shout out to LaShonda, who's part of the Atlantic Bay team. Well, she was in here with her family wrapping up these awesome Popeye ponchos for you. So I love your dedication, and we're so grateful for you, LaShonda.
We are too.
All right, and really quickly, we're going to hear from Ayelet. Come on up. Tell us about Show It.
I have 2 minutes after I'm. People are killing me. Okay, so on the tables, people in the back, sorry, you can come in front. I can give you afterwards. You have this flyer. It shows all our available services in the back. And what we do want to focus on today is actually the open house. We listened, we've learned, and we implemented. So we got 4 different types of open houses. The 2 that I want to really work on today is basic experience. Everybody says, oh, we're not paying for our open houses for somebody to host it. So if you do the basic experience, you're not gonna pay for it. You're gonna post it on the market. Somebody's gonna do it for you. You don't need to pay them, but you're not gonna get the lead. They're gonna get the leads, which is awesome. We have our QR code, which goes through all our jobs, which the agent that's hosting for you can actually give it to their clients to scan, to register. Once they just write their name and either their phone number or their email, you're gonna get it on your app. So you're gonna be able to see that. You're gonna be able to, you, the host of the open house, you'll be able to write notes. So you'll be able to show, to know how to follow up afterwards. The rest of the jobs are paid. Now, the one that I really wanted to focus on is that people say, you know what, in this market, I'm gonna do my open house. I don't want anybody else to do it. So we've actually changed gears of actually finding somebody to do it for you. You can have your own open house and actually use our QR code, and that's my open house. So once you put it on, you don't really, nobody's gonna see it but you, but you're gonna be able to utilize our QR code and to enjoy it. And all our jobs obviously have the GPS that you can see the person coming into the house. You're gonna be able to see that they've completed. You're gonna give them feedback and review and just enjoy. And if you have any questions, marks, whatever, you know where to find me. I'm here. Show it. Less than 2 minutes. I'm good.
Thank you. A round of applause for Ayelet Gila. Thank you, Ayelet. Y'all, we have so many amazing programs. We are so lucky. Let's just take a quick minute now to get that energy back. We're going to stand up for some fist bumps and high fives. your seats. Affiliate partners, we'd love your help to get everybody seated. Hint, hint, affiliate partners. Hint, hint, affiliate partners. Help us get everyone seated. All right. I know we are so excited. Today is so much fun. And in just a minute, we're going to bring up our panel to talk about buyers. Hi, guys. I'm just running a team meeting up here. No big deal. All right. Okay, everybody grab a seat. So I want you to look up because I'm sure like all of you, I've been researching the market to understand what does a seller look like in this market? What does a buyer look like and what motivates them? And how do we win with them? I think we can all agree that there are anxious buyers out there in this market. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yes. Now, first-time home buyers made up 34% of all home buyers last year. So that actually rose 3%. So understand there's an extra level of, I don't know what to do going on right now. 87% of buyers recently purchased their home with a real estate agent. Are we relevant? Does what we do matter? Yes. So the question is, are you doing everything you can to support them? And with that, we'll go ahead and bring up Riley Barnett and our script off winner, Jill Wright. Come on up, y'all. Let's give them a round of applause. Ooh, bring it close. Perfect. We're gonna get close. There we go. Let's get close. Okay. So I think we can agree that this is just an unprecedented market, right? And we're hearing things like shift. Sometimes we're hearing the word recession. It's scary for our clients right now. So I'm going to hand you the mic and just love for you to kind of talk about what you're feeling right now in the market. How many buyers do you have in your pipeline? And then we'll talk about some success stories you're having.
You want to go first? Go for it. I insist.
I did not count the buyers in my pipeline right now, but it feels like a lot. I'm sure everyone is feeling that, like, oh gosh, I've got all these buyers that are in my pipeline, and how am I going to serve and what am I going to do? I think the biggest thing, so I had success this week, and I've been frustrated, and it's been difficult, but we got 2 buyers under contract this week, which is great. I mean, it's a win, and one of them we put in 3, the other one we put in 7 prior to that. So
and those are offers. You put in 7 offers.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. And in a very difficult market, Roswell, East Cobb, like super hard right now. So I think there's a part of it that's like we need to make sure we're qualifying our people, right? Like they should be pre-approved before we're taking them out. And like fully pre-approved. I know everyone knows this, but I think it's worth reiterating because sometimes we're like we just need more business, and we want to be working smarter, not harder. But there also is like this patience aspect to it as well, and understanding that people have to have a learning curve in some way, shape, or form. And some clients it might be a longer learning curve than others, and what's really helped me is making sure that I get feedback from each listing agent on the offers that have come in, because that is hard data that I can pass on to my clients that backs up the advice that I'm giving them, so that I don't feel like I'm forcing them into anything they feel uncomfortable with. It's more of like, I'm giving you all the information you need to make informed decisions. Here's how we're gonna win this offer. We've done this before. This hasn't won us the offer. We're also utilizing Ribbon and Homeward. We just run our first offer with Ribbon, and it has afforded my first-time home buyers to win an offer, and they are not going to have to cover any appraisal gap, which was preventing them from winning offers. Like Ribbon will cover that appraisal gap. So those are just a couple just off the cuff thoughts that with buyers in this market. I think it's a game of qualifying, but also then having the patience to guide them through the process. So yeah.
Love that. Thank you, Riley.
I think to extend off of the qualifying bit, it really boils down to how well are you executing your buyer consultation. You're sitting there, you're getting to know their wants, their needs, their desires. They are painting the picture of what their expectations are of you as the agent, in addition to their expectations of the process in general. With that, you're able to leverage okay, let's get you pre-qualified. I have this list of lenders. Go talk to them. Please do not talk to a bank. Sorry, banks, but they're just not helping you. And making sure that they are partnering with somebody that you trust to get them all the way qualified through underwriting, so that you can put that zero financing there, because you don't want to risk them in the off chance not qualifying. New construction is great too, sometimes, if you're able to find it. I'm sure everybody here is familiar with option money, yes? Okay, so option money, the way that I present it to my buyers is I basically just tailor it like, all right, this is non-refundable earnest money, is pretty much what it is. Now, it's not going to be this crazy $11,000 that you're putting in the earnest money pocket, or the $20,000 that some of us are putting down for earnest money. It's usually around, I always put $1,000 to $2,500. And that's only if your buyer is 110% comfortable. In the event that they walk away, they are okay with losing that money. But it is a nice little sweet piece to try to win the house. And it just shows that they have that cash on hand too. $2,500, yeah, doesn't sound like much, but it could be a whole lot to a seller. Who knows? Because it's guaranteed. Another thing that I have done to win in this market, and this just, you guys are probably going to roll your eyes whenever I say this, but build rapport with the listing agent. Build rapport. I'm a listing agent too myself, and I can't tell you how many offers I received on my recent listing where the agent just sent me an offer, didn't talk to me. And I called them and they did not pick up the phone. Did we consider that offer? We looked at it, but was it in the running? Absolutely not. I don't know anything about these people. So build rapport with the listing agent. Be their best friend. Ask all the questions you can, because sometimes they'll over-disclose to you. You never know. And it ultimately will put you in a better position for your people. And like Jill was saying, sometimes your people have to lose a few times in order to really get motivated. So you have to pull them from that, that heated, angry moment and pull them back to the pleasure moment of, okay, you've been slapped on the wrist here. Let's make it a win now. We know that this didn't win. Let's improve this next one.
Thank you. So in a minute, we'll open up for questions as well, because I'd love for everyone to have the opportunity to ask questions. I'd love to kind of know what it looks like for you in terms of, are you finding that buyers are leaving the market? Are they staying in the market? For your buyers that are considering walking away from the market, what does that conversation sound like right now? Do you want to go first?
I can go. Go ahead. So honestly, I have had a couple of people simply leave the market, and ultimately it was just the people that didn't have those extra funds on hand. Maybe they were simply only putting the 3% down. They just simply got priced out. And the way that I tried to tailor the conversation was, okay, well, maybe we don't need to be looking at the tippy top of your budget. First home does not mean forever home, and it does not mean dream home. We all know this. We're just trying to go ahead and get you in a home to build wealth. We're not going to put you in a shack or anything of the sorts. However, we need to change the vision of what your first home looks like, because maybe your idea right now is just simply out of the realm of possibility, and that is okay. You can continue that dream later down the line whenever you're building wealth in that first home. It has retained some people, but there are some people that are just like, no, I'm done. This is too stressful for me. And you kind of can't fight that. It's ultimately their decision.
And I think too, in the instance where you do have those people that are like, just the motivation to be in this market is not there, it's not worth fighting it. I mean, you want to educate them, like I think what you just said is perfect about the wealth building aspect of it, and looking at it as not just an emotional investment, but a financial investment for your future to help you get to your later goals. But it's also, and I think long-term retaining clients is understanding how they're feeling and where they're coming from, and letting them know that it's okay if now isn't the right time for you. I will be here when it is the right time for you. And in the meantime, I'm going to stay in touch and I'm going to be a resource to you. And as much as we want them to buy now, it has to be what's best for them, and they have to be able to trust you with that.
You also have to respect your time.
And you also have to respect your own time because we're all running around like crazy people. And, you know, like just to show it solutions, like there's awesome ways right now to leverage your time to work smarter and not harder. So, you know, use those things.
Shameless plug.
But
How
I think
else
there
are
are
you-
people.
How else are you leveraging yourselves in this market so that you have a good counterbalance? Or do you have a good counterbalance?
I love that question.
Is there ever balance?
I am using Show It, and I am using, you know, Key Please, the things like that. In addition to, you know, I've made some relationships in this office of agents that, you know, are newer to the game and they just want to get their feet wet and they want to just understand the process a little bit further. Right. How many of us learn by doing? Hi, it's me. So I've really tried to pour into other people to be like, hi, can you show this person? You and I have very similar personalities. They'll love you. Go do this, and you will be compensated fairly. And usually people are really open to that, and that's really helped me to leverage. All right, well, I have to go write 2 offers while you're showing them 2 houses on the other side of town, and it allows me to balance a little bit better.
I love that. And I love that we work together as a family, right? And we understand that agents that are just coming in, they might not have the pipeline and the opportunity to learn right now. So understand that by working with them, you're getting leverage and you're actually giving them invaluable opportunities to learn how to survive and thrive in a shifting market. So I love that you're doing
And you're
that.
also putting a little bit of money in their pocket whenever they're needing a little bit of money. Because if y'all remember, it's a little bit expensive to get started in real estate.
Yes, absolutely. Any questions for our panelists? How many buyers do we have? Sounds like y'all are crushing it.
There is a question.
Oh, perfect. Katie. Hello, Katie, Director of Productivity. Coach
So
Katie.
I lost 2 this last weekend. 0-day financing, 0-day appraisal. We've shown the 60 grand we could bridge the appraisal gap. We asked due diligence or right to inspect. They said we would rather have a due diligence. Okay, great. 2-day due diligence. We got beat. Everything else the same by someone who said 0 diligence, 0 right to inspect.
Yeah.
Are you doing inspections during the open house and having your buyers pay the $400 up front for that?
I love that question. So,
great question.
Like,
no,
I'm
I do
tired.
love that. That was actually one of those points. I was actually thinking about one of those points on the way here today. So inspectors now, I'm not sure if a lot of you are familiar with this, but there are some inspectors out there right now that are willing to do kind of a pre-inspection during the showing.
Walk and talk.
A little walk, yes, who said walk and talk? Love that. Yes, they're doing a walk and talk, they're like, hey, pay me $120, I'll do a walk and talk, I'll give you the highlights of everything.
250.
Oh, my person does 120.
Well, I got excited about 120.
Share.
That's nice.
Love my guy. And so they kind of go over all the highlights that maybe just the seller's property disclosure doesn't note, like, oh, the 20-year roof or the whenever the
Sure.
HVAC was since looked at. And it gives another professional set of eyes with you, and it only validates you in your position as an agent with these buyers to only trust you even further. And if ultimately it is a buyer's decision if they want to waive their due diligence. However, if the inspector comes back with, I don't see any big issues right now with the eyes that I've put on in the 30 minutes that I've been in this home, you should be good to make an offer. You're still able to get an inspection even putting a 0-day due diligence, correct?
We've been getting asked for like 2% earnest money, so that, yeah, and you can do an inspection, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just if you walk away, there goes 12 grand in earnest money.
Mhm.
So we're not spending 12 grand on an inspection.
Oh, yeah,
So,
no,
okay,
no.
so walk and talk.
That
You've
sounds,
got a contact you can shoot my way?
Yes.
Absolutely.
You and I are meeting after this anyway. I'm happy to share.
I love you.
And I was just gonna add to that, actually, what you said about the option money.
We did that recently where we won an offer and we asked for a 3-day due diligence. But we added in a special as-is clause, which I worked on with Alita because of our contracts and the way it's written to protect my buyers during their due diligence. But we had an as-is clause that was put in as a special stipulation. And then we also offered option money. So it was like, they still want this inspection, but the only way they're walking away is if the house is falling down. And again, I established rapport with the listing agent, which she off the bat was like, I'm so glad you called me. And she worked with Allison before, so that was amazing because my clients were using Allison. So there was like establishing that relationship was huge, and then I think the option money helped us as well.
Your alliance partners here are super well known in the industry.
Yes.
Use them if you
Nanette, and then Lakeisha will come to you.
Question about the, on the as-is and the option money. So you said we're gonna buy it as is after the 3-day due diligence, right? Like, we're not gonna ask for any repairs. Is that right?
Correct, like it, and I can't remember it off the top of my head, but the sellers actually had an as-is clause that they wanted to use from when they had purchased and sold property in Texas. And so we went through it with Alita, and Amanda actually helped me with this too, to make sure that the clause was protecting our buyers. But basically they're saying we're gonna buy it as is, we're not gonna ask for repairs, we're not gonna ask for money in lieu of repairs. We're gonna have our inspection done, and we can back out for any reason at all. But we're also putting down 2% earnest money and option money.
How much was the option money? Just curious.
It was $1,000.
Okay, all right, thank you.
How much is the listing price?
It was listed at $620, and we won it at $655, which was surprising, and I think that's kind of due to spring break. Here in Sandy Springs, but it also, just so you know, it appraised.
Yeah. Lakeisha and then Corey.
Well, one is just the acknowledgement, and the second is a question. But the first acknowledgement is that right to inspect, great exhibit, but I'm just wanting to warn all of you agents who decide to use that. Alita hates them, first of all. They absolutely hate them. But if you decide to use a right to inspect, thoroughly read that exhibit more than once to make sure that you comprehend what it says, and also make sure your client gets it, because they can't just walk away. I used one back in February for a buyer, and she decided she found another house she liked. After I explained how this works to her, it was a shit show, y'all. So, I mean, she almost in earnest money, seriously. So, I mean, and we were able to save. I'm on my vacation negotiating and trying to figure it out with Alita on the beach. But make sure you thoroughly read that, because there are special stipulations in that contract that you need to be aware of as an agent and advising your client on if they decide to walk away and what's truly a defect. You know,
Exactly.
Your
the ambiguous
idea of a
point.
defect is maybe much different than the seller's idea of a defect, and you can't just ask for anything and get mad if they don't do it and walk away. It doesn't work like that. So I'm just warning you guys to beware if you decide to use that and know exactly what it says. My question to you guys is, where are you guys finding business as far as buyers or sellers? Because every seller I've called was like, I ain't going nowhere, child. I'm staying in my house. Because where am I going? There are no houses.
So all of the listings that I've gotten recently,
So they can hear you in the back.
all of the listings that I've gotten recently have strictly been from my sphere. Now I'm talking with a couple from Golden Letters, but they haven't turned into anything quite yet. So I've done a golden letter around, because given my whole house situation, I'm living with my boyfriend who lives in a 500 house community, and so I'm like, ooh, hello. So I mailed out to all of them. I'm like, well, I live here. I could literally just walk to their door and say, hi, I'm here for my listing appointment. And I've gotten a few calls from that. They haven't turned into anything quite yet. Like there's been no conversion of an appointment. However, it's getting there because everybody's seeing the activity in the neighborhood. But other than that, it's strictly been sphere. I don't find success with calling the FSBOs personally. Now other people here do, and I love that for you. That's just not my personality, unfortunately. I get scared. FSBOs and expireds, I don't find success with those personally.
For me, I can speak for both Corey and I, a lot of it is sphere. We also have a database that we purchased that we've been cold calling through that database and coming up with scripts and ways to talk to people, to talk to them about their real estate goals. So call your database. Like we've had a lot of people come out of that database where it's been kind of feels like a cold call. We haven't necessarily talked to them before. We don't necessarily have a relationship, but you start a conversation with somebody about their real estate goals. And a lot of people just want to talk about the market.
Yeah.
Like even your database, you just have a system for calling through database, DTD2, whatever it is, but talk to them, ask them you're a resource for them. So it's not, I'm trying to sell you on something. I'm just being a resource for you. You'd be surprised how many questions they have. And then if they may have somebody they know that is actually looking or is looking to sell. So I really do believe in sphere, and I believe in touching your database
I'm gonna say a quick point to that, and then we'll come to Corey. So last year at Mega Camp, and we had the privilege of celebrating it here, one of the things that Jay and Gary touched on, and this was last August, and it shows you that nothing changes in this business. It's all about relationships. One of the things that they reiterated time and time again is that we need to be more human with more people more often.
Yes.
So especially for some of our agents that have just joined, yes, we talk about scripts and conversations. And at the end of the day, building rapport, right? That's what we're hearing, building relationships. That's actually the key to a long-lasting business, right? Whether you end up focusing on FSBOs and expires or not, either way, cultivating relationships is what's really gonna keep you top of mind. So write that down if you have not yet. Be more human with more people more often. Corey, did you have a question still, and then we'll come to Charlie?
I was gonna go back to the ribbon program that's currently in place, and that's how we've helped a couple of our buyers. Right now they're filling in that appraisal gap, but Ribbon is kind of hemorrhaging money, so they're going to be moving away from that shortly. They've already pulled it from a couple other states and trying to see how best to fit. What they think it may look like is that appraisal gap is going to be a separate agreement with Ribbon, that the buyer is going to come up with some financial arrangement apparently with that separately. So know that that's not going to be there forever, so use it to your advantage while you can. Ribbon also requires a 7-day due diligence and or a 7-day right to inspect repair. We lost out on a couple, and one of the Ribbon advisors suggested putting in, yes, we have the 7-day inspection, but put in that clause, I think I forgot to mention it, that any repair requested by Ribbon will be covered by the buyer. So you're essentially saying, I get the 7 days, but any repairs that Ribbon is going to require from them, should they need to buy it, the buyer is going to absorb.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Corey. We do have a lot of agents as well that work with Ribbon closely. I know Michael Crute and Justin Anderson have worked with them. Feel free to put it in Mission Control. You can search, because we've also talked about Ribbon. And then if you got additional questions, you can also partner with Atlantic Bay. I know that they have a lot of information on it as well, and then you can figure out, is it really a fit for your client? Charlie, you're gonna be my last one, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up.
Okay. So obviously I'm not necessarily like gung-ho in residential, but what I am doing currently is building like helping a partner build a house, and we're not on the market. But what happened was there was an agent who drove the market. My partner, who's primarily the builder, he was on site, and the agent walked up and was like, "Hey, I like your house." She didn't know who it was. It could have been a worker, right? Because he's out there and like, actually doing stuff. And he was like, "Oh, great, thanks, appreciate it." She was like, "Is it for sale?" He was like, "Well, it wasn't. I was gonna use it for myself, but it is. We'd be willing to entertain an offer." And so, yeah, for that purpose, just so you guys, I don't know how many people are out there actually driving around. And I say this for my business too. I'm like the first that loves technology. I sit at my desk. I come in every day. I probably should be more out in the field, just looking for people who like are building stuff, or I just want to encourage everybody who is looking for inventory. One way is definitely to go drive the market. Just see for your client, and even for your future business, right? Is like, honestly, we don't really work with anybody right now on the residential sales side. So, we've had somebody come through that wanted to work with my partner mainly. So that agent potentially could be our agent. So you see, it's also like that we have other things we're building.
But you would.
I know, but I don't know. I don't necessarily have control, and I'm trying to bring her in to the market. So I'm gonna give her into Cara. So, but all that to say is like, that might be another way for you guys, not only to help your buyers, but also, like you're saying, ways to be more human. It was a conversation with somebody walking on the site. And the other thing about it, you can find contractors that can do work for you guys, for your clients and everything. So anyway, I just encourage maybe even to go out into the field, yeah, walk on the job. I mean, I'm not saying to walk on every job site, but.
I'm a little taken aback that like this sweet girl just like walked up and said, "Hi, I like this house." What?
Exactly. So just letting you guys know, it might be an option for you. And actually, they put in a very strong offer, and we might accept.
Love that. Well, was this helpful?
Yes.
This beginning of a conversation? I want to thank our ladies. Let's give them a round of applause. This is a conversation that we will continue to have, and even after team meeting today, we would encourage all of you to keep having these conversations. I know we went over, and I want to thank you for graciously staying in the room and listening and having this conversation. We're going to take just 2 minutes. We'll give you final announcements, and then we have one final raffle. So very exciting. Red Day is coming up. Who's going? Everybody raise your hands. I love that. So to learn more about it, KWEvents.info. Rachel, what date is Red Day?
Can I actually get up there? I know we're running out of time, but like today we were supposed to actually talk it all through.
Oh, okay. Let's take a minute, and then what we'll do is we'll make sure that we get more time, because I want everyone to know about how important Red Day is.
We'll get an email out. That's fine.
So give me date, give me time.
May
We are
12,
going to
10 to
give you
12, 12 to 2, 2 to 4. And
Okay.
there's going to be inside and outside. And the Sign Up Genius will have it all out there, and we'll get everything out today.
Perfect. And a huge shout out to Rachel, Lauren, and our entire culture committee. This Friday is also the last day to order your Red Day swag. So if you have not, please go ahead, take a screenshot, go to KWFAevents.info to pick up that swag. And then a huge shout out to our April Growth Partners. We want to thank you for referring agents and talent into the office. Atisha, Corey, Paula, and Lexi. All right, obviously we know about this. I'm hoping our dashboard for all information about what's going on in the Market Center. Here are a couple classes that are coming up that you can check out. That information is also on the dashboard and in your intranet. And lastly, our incredible ALC. So they are hosting regular committee meetings and events here in the Market Center and in awesome venues across the city. So today, Young Professionals is meeting in the room from 1 to 2. Our Culture Committee is meeting on the 4th floor from 12 to 1, as is our Education Committee. So same thing, go ahead, take a screenshot. We're going to be announcing these. We send out emails as well. And then our Finance Committee will also be bringing 7 money milestones. So if you've got questions, please see Paula Kellum or Brittany Lowe. And Supreme, they also have this event. We announced this class last week. Make sure you catch that. And lastly, our Growth Committee will be partnering with Brittany Lowe and our Finance Committee to host Career Night. So if you have anyone that's thinking of coming into the business, please send them to Career Night, because we'd love to bring them into the family and be a resource for you. Lastly, Bold is still open, so if you want to sign up, come see me. We'll get you signed up. And whew, we got there, and I appreciate all of you. Shout out again to LaShonda from Atlantic Bay, because she connected me with an incredible local partner. Yeah. So some of you may be familiar with LaFont Theater that has been in Sandy Springs. They are now the Springs Cinema and Tap House. So April, come on down. I'm going to walk around quickly and grab some business cards.
First of all, thank you for this great opportunity.
Of course.
I'm assuming you're my strong and sassy.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm gonna give this back. I don't, as a professional speaker, I don't need it. Here's what I want to say. I am delighted to be here this morning, lunch, around salespeople. I just love it. When I heard script, when I heard y'all are working on that is me. So I put down the phone. LaShonda, where are you? Right here. Atlantic Bay was one of the first corporate events we ever did. I'm going to do this very quickly because I've got delicious homemade food for you out there, and you have to go eat it while it's still cold and good, okay? Here's the deal, okay? Grant Gully is the owner of the Springs Cinema and Tap House. He bought it from LaFont, okay? He did it at the worst possible time in his life. His daughter was very, very sick with a rare form of leukemia, okay? It took 2 bone marrow transplants. She's now past it. She's now in nursing school, which she will go in and do for other people with the nurses that did for Choa, for her. We have grown. Our event business is booming. We've done everything from proposals, memorials. We even did a church service on Christmas Eve during the pandemic, okay? He and we figured out how we were going to pivot through a time, as you know, that was miserable. One of the top theaters in the nation during the pandemic. We are the premier theater now after years of hard work. We have been very blessed with Keller Williams and many people that use us for client events, employee events. Campbell Brennan, they've been to our theater. They've had a wonderful drive-in experience. We want to make sure that you remember us. How many of you have been to the Springs? Okay, thank you. Yes, okay. I want you to come. If you want to come and have a chicken melt and talk about handling objections and closing techniques with me, do it. But we want you there. I was listening to her for just a few minutes talk about relationships. I want you to know that if every call is an opportunity, not an interruption, there you go. I also want to tell you that your attitude is the most important possession you'll ever own. You got to trust your heart that's loved you all your life. You got to make sure you're taken care of. I see you like a bank, deposits and withdrawals, right? We know the withdrawals, right? Your world. But the deposits are the key. Use techniques, take care of yourself, watch yourself talk, make sure that you talk as well to yourself as you do to others, and then just keep moving. So I want to say last but not least, we have a grand prize today. Our children's series is one of the most loved things in the city. He does it for free in the summers for kids. We ask for suggested donations that go completely to cure, right? Because that's what we do. Everything we do is about cure or cure. But what I want to tell you, the most important part about that is that we have a newsletter, 30,000 people read it. We have a 35% click rate. But more important, we have over 300,000 people that go through our theater with movies all day long. We have 8 theaters. Great way to advertise, but I'm looking for a sponsor for our children's series, and I'm willing to throw in a private theater for you that you can use as a value added for your customers, for the people that have gotten you where you need to be. So find me, keep an eye out. Let me know if you want to do an event. Top Gun is coming. I'm booking. All right.
What are you raffling off?
Here's what I'm raffling off. I've got 4 tickets to the Springs. Whoever wins, this will get you in. I'm going to make sure you have one of our flavored, like our themed drinks, and maybe get one of those juicy chicken melts that I love.
I'm going to let you do the honors and
Okay.
pick from the cards.
Maybe.
Mix them. They were mixed.
I know.
There we go. Drum roll.
Drum roll. This is for Jean Fierce.
I want to thank you all for coming today, and we will see you next week.
Thank y'all. The patio is in the back. Homemade desserts,